How does it work, right? You can't even get on the ballot in a lot of places, right? Yeah. So as a practical matter, let's assume that your candidacy starts getting some traction, right? Sure. Let's assume you do well in New Hampshire, surprisingly so, right? And people say, whoa, this guy Phillips, who is he? Oh, did pretty well in New Hampshire. But then what? I mean, you're not even on the ballot in a lot of these states.
I'm going to be on 40 ballots, at least. Is it easy? No, because the system, Dan, is designed to prevent competition. Now, publicly, the Democratic Party would like everybody to believe that we believe in debate, we believe in voter participation, and we believe in thoughtful candidate competition. But the truth is, behind the scenes, every single one of those categories is suppressed. With that said, I've got to spend millions of dollars, thousands of man-hours on our campaign to get on the ballots. I will not be on every one, because some are, and by the way, we're sitting in New York right now, one of the most anti-democratic states in the entire United States of America, both for voters and for candidates. And I think people know what I'm talking about.
Why? I don't think they do.
Yeah, because if you want to vote in New York, you've got to register way in advance of an election.
Right.
In Minnesota, my home state, you decide you want to vote on election day, you go to the local poll and you can vote. It doesn't matter your politics. You don't have to pre-register. So that's one. Candidates. In Minnesota, I was placed on the ballot, not because I'm a Minnesotan, because we're thoughtful about it. Anybody who is running for president with a viable campaign is on the ballot. New York, got to get 15,000 signatures. You got to pay a firm $500,000. It's all a racket, Dan. It's happening all over the country. And by the way, some states, as you know, you're talking about Florida not long ago. Florida has literally determined we don't even need a primary. Joe Biden won. We don't need the 4.5 million Democrats to even opine. All right. That's how the system is working.
You mentioned Florida. I got a lot of things I want to talk to you about, but we had on this show last week Democratic State Senator Jason Pizzo. In Florida, as you point out, they have already sent in their determination that Joe Biden will be the candidate. They've decided not to have a primary. I challenged them on that. I tried to get the Florida Democratic officials on. They wouldn't come on. I couldn't get just about any Democrat on. Jason Pizzo then agreed to come on to debate me and then looked at the timeline of when things happened and started having second thoughts. But this is what he said about when I asked him specifically about you. This is what Jason Pizzo said.
Dean Phillips is one of nearly 1,300 people that have filed with the FEC to be a Democratic candidate for the nomination. And really, that state executive committee, it's in statute. In a supermajority state like Florida that has all Republicans, it's Florida Statute 103. The state executive committee holds a convention, puts forward nominations, and the couple hundred people that were in that room in Orlando from October 27th to October 29th mentioned one name. Nobody else from Dean Phillips' team or anyone else was able to get a name put forward.
What do you make of that?
I think it's just, I'm so glad he said it. That's the problem right there. He just said the truth. A couple hundred people only offered one name. Therefore, 4.5 million people won't have a chance to even opine when 50% of Democrats want a different nominee. What the man just said, the state senator, I'm one of 1,300. I'm also a sitting member of Congress. I was a member of House Democratic leadership. Yeah. I mean, come on. I'm the ranking member of the Middle East Subcommittee on Foreign Affairs. I'm a serious candidate that will be on 40 state ballots. The truth of the matter is this. The Democratic Party of Florida decided to not have an election. This is the same party that is rightfully accusing the right of being a threat to democracy.
Can you, though, win on only 40 ballots? I mean, in only 40 states?
Sure. And I'll tell you how. First of all, in New Hampshire, another state that the Democratic Party and President Biden has disenfranchised for 103 years. They've been the first in the nation primary. President Biden came in 5th place in 2020, only 8% of the vote. He knew it would be problematic, so he put South Carolina first, disenfranchising all the voters in New Hampshire. So he won't be on the ballot there. I will be. Now they're trying to do a write-in campaign because they know they made a terrible mistake. If I surprise in New Hampshire, which I intend to do, that'll change some minds. If I surprise in Michigan and some of the early states, yeah. Remember what happened in 1968. Another Minnesota senator, in this case, Eugene McCarthy, entered the race in New Hampshire, came within 8 points of beating the sitting president. President Johnson dropped out of the race. Bobby Kennedy entered and would have become president had he not been assassinated. So the answer is yes, I have to accrue delegates.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.